welcome to the Tuesday edition of Talking Football, where we look at the events from England and Germany, and there's a lot to look for. I'm joined here once again by football analyst Ouriel Daskal and I24 News reporter Michael Friedman, who will bring us the reactions from the global press. And on our show today, we will take a look at the FA Cup semi-finals with Arsenal winning and Liverpool losing, and we will bid farewell to Jurgen Klopp, who leaves Dortmund after 7 years. All this and much more coming up right now. We begin in England, and for 9 long years, Arsenal fans were waiting to win a trophy again. The long wait ended last season with the Gunners winning the FA Cup. They're now hoping the wait for the next title will be much shorter. Arsenal is again in the final after beating Reading 2-1 in the semis. Ouriel, maybe Arsene Wenger learned the trick. If Chelsea and Manchester City are not putting their best squads, he will, and he has a good chance of winning a trophy.
It's nice to win a trophy, isn't it?
It's nice to win a trophy.
I mean, I like
Call it whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty good. If you want to win the title in England, you need to start somewhere. And this somewhere is either the League Cup or the FA Cup. You have to, winning is a habit. You have to teach your players how to win. And for long years, Arsenal couldn't win the league because they haven't won anything else. And now I think, after winning the trophy last season, and they're favorites for the cup this season, they could, really challenge for the title next season.
Because if they would have played throughout the season as they are in the past 2 months, they would be up there with Chelsea.
Yeah, most points in the Premier League in 2015.
And most of the big players are staying. Arsene Wenger will probably stay. What can they do next season to actually be there, go for the championship, something they have not done since 2004?
I think the club still needs, a strong captain. Like Patrick Vieira was, like Tony Adams was. I don't know if they can buy it. Someone needs to grow from the inside. Maybe
a leader within.
Yeah, a leader within. I think like maybe Petr Cech character as a goalkeeper and a strong defensive midfielder who will work together with Francis Coquelin, who's been a revelation. I think that's enough for a championship winning squad. Maybe another attacker for more diversity in their attack, because Giroud has been excellent. I think that Alexis Sanchez and Ozil will be much better next season because they know each other. They'll know each other and
they have
play
the talent.
better. Yeah, and that's it. You don't need to change a lot.
So a lot to look for next season, but before that, Arsenal will be the clear favorites in the May 30 final against Aston Villa. But manager Arsene Wenger knows that when it's just one game, anything is possible.
I believe now let's focus on our next game. We come back here with in the final. We have time to prepare, and overall, of course, finally it's a 50-50. If we can beat that record, we will be very happy. But finally, it's a 50-50, and let's hope we have all our players available and come back in a good shape.
And Michael, what is the press take on this Arsenal renaissance?
Well, there's one man in particular. The Bleacher Report headlines read, Alexis Sanchez again bails out Arsenal in FA Cup semi-final win over Reading. They were close to an embarrassing end to this campaign, but the Chilean hero did it again, and it showed why he was, given £32 million. It wasn't a perfect performance for him whatsoever, but in the end of the day, he was able to dig deep and get that goal. And at the end, they're going to the finals at Wembley, and it's a good team to bet on them for the finals. Arsene Wenger, he said that, his team really dug deep, got together, and he also was able to console the goalkeeper for Reading, who was not too easy to let that one in the end.
And what's impressive about this Arsenal side is they don't have to impress in order to win, because when you have such brilliant players like Ozil and Sanchez,
is all you need.
Yes.
You need just magical moment, and you win it. And Ozil and Sanchez are magic.
Now, there's no doubt as to who are the biggest losers of the FA Cup semi-final. Liverpool lost their last chance of making something out of the season when they lost 2-1 to Aston Villa. If Steven Gerrard will now win a title, it will be only as an LA Galaxy player. Really huge disappointments for this team, which is a team of almost. They almost made it to the Champions League next stage. They almost made it in the Europa League. They almost made it to the final, and they will probably almost make it to the Champions League next season, but they will never actually do it, not this time.
I think Brendan Rodgers is the first coach of Liverpool in the last 50 years that hasn't won a cup in one of his 3 first years in the club.
And he almost won a championship last year.
Yeah,
so
he
close.
almost. I like Rodgers, really. I mean, I think he has a great football mind. I think he actually brought the right players. A lot of people saying his transfers were horrible. I think he actually brought the right players, but there were too many changes in the club.
And they dealt a lot of injuries as well this season.
Yeah, and they had a lot of injuries, and losing a player such as Gerrard, and they basically lost him this season because he's not the same Gerrard as he was.
It's not as quick.
Yeah, he's not quick.
He's
He's not as aggressive.
And he was out for many games.
Yeah, and it was pretty bad. So, I think if I was like John Henry, I would think hard if I want Rodgers to quit or to continue, and if I can't get like a Jurgen Klopp type of manager, then I would let him stay.
Yeah. Will he stay or will he go? We'll find out at the end of the season. For the moment, the manager is just sad for Steven Gerrard, who will leave the club without that one final trophy he wanted so much.
Absolutely. I think it was one he was doing everything he possibly could today to help the team. And I thought he was excellent today, Stephen. But no, collectively, as I said, we didn't perform well enough to get a victory for him.
And Michael, Steven Gerrard is definitely the biggest headline when it comes out of this game.
Of course. The Telegraph headlines read, Steven Gerrard's fairy tale ending goes up in smoke as yet another trophy slips past Liverpool. This was what Liverpool supporters, players, everyone in the media was thinking this could be it for them. But the club captain, it wasn't enough in the end. Gerrard, the aftermath, what he was hoping for, it wasn't good enough. And the joke, even more so, was the club. They announced that afterwards, they put on Twitter, be there on his birthday for his final LFC game, FA Cup final tickets to be announced, to then only find out later on it was a mistake and they were not there.
Don't celebrate before you have it.
It's too unfortunate.
It's a shame that Gerrard will always be remembered for his slip against Chelsea, which basically cost Liverpool their championship, and for this. I mean, it is sad. He's been such a legend for Liverpool.
He's the hero for them.
Yeah, he's their hero, and it's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame. Maybe we should also remember him for that 2005 final, which he lifted the trophy.
Won, yeah.
Let's not forget that. Arsenal was worried with the FA Cup this weekend, but they also had their eyes set on the Premier League. The Gunners were hoping that Manchester United would slow Chelsea down ahead of the London Derby next weekend. The Red Devils were the better side on the pitch in Stamford Bridge, but when Chelsea's on the other side, it's just not enough. Just like the week before, the Blues needed one good move to secure the win. Eden Hazard nailed it in the first half. Jose Mourinho's boys are now 10 points clear of Arsenal in second place, with just 18 points to play for. And though it is getting closer, the manager still thinks the championship is not yet decided.
No, because we need 8 points to be champion. So football is not about if, it's not about almost, it's about mathematics. So when mathematically is done, it's done. We celebrate until that moment. No, we need 2 victories and 2 draws to be champion.
In other results from the Premier League, Everton beat Burnley at home. The 2 consecutive defeats, Manchester City finally get 3 points after leaving West Ham behind 2-0, and Tottenham win 3-1 in Newcastle. Liverpool and Arsenal will play their respective matches at a later date. Chelsea are first with 76 points, 10 more than Arsenal in second. Both London teams who will face each other this coming Sunday at the Emirates Stadium have a game in hand. Further down is Manchester United with 65 points, 1 more than their city rivals in fourth. Liverpool and Tottenham still hope to grab a Champions League spot, both with 57 points. The Mighty Reds, though, with a game in hand. On to the Bundesliga, and what we basically knew since the beginning of the season may become official as early as next week. Bayern Munich may be facing a serious threat in the Champions League, but it's all nice and easy back home. The Bavarians beat Hoffenheim 2-0 away, while second place Wolfsburg only managed a 1-0 draw at home against Schalke. Bayer Leverkusen beat Hannover 4-0 at home, and the match between Frankfurt and Mönchengladbach ended in a goalless draw. Five matches and 15 points to go. Bayern Munich has a 12-point gap at the top, and if they win next weekend and Wolfsburg lose points, Bayern Munich will be crowned champions. Further down are Leverkusen and Mönchengladbach, both with 54 points, almost certain to play in the Champions League next season. Borussia Dortmund beat Paderborn 3-0 and kept some chance of qualifying to the Europa League next season, but those were really the small news coming out of the yellow and black club. The big headline was, of course, Jurgen Klopp's announcement that he will be leaving the club at the end of the season. Though this was not the best of seasons for Dortmund, Klopp brought the club to new heights during his 7 years with a German double Champions League final and, more than anything, a happy and attacking state of mind, which made it one of the best teams to watch. Lies Barenbaum and Michael Friedman look back at the Jurgen Klopp era at the Westfalenstadion.
This is the end of an era. Jurgen Klopp, the legendary coach of Borussia Dortmund, has announced that he will no longer be the manager of the Yellow and Black next season, a decision that leaves many fans sad.
I have mixed feelings. He taught us, and we had so much success with him. But if you want to leave, then you have to leave. It's as simple as that.
Klopp has managed Borussia Dortmund since 2008 and is under contract until 2018. The decision to go was very challenging for the beloved coach.
The memories will remain with us forever, and that is wonderful. But this club deserves to have the best coach possible. Someone who can give 100%, so to speak, at any given time. That's why we had to make this decision.
The Yellow and Black are currently 9th in the Bundesliga. Klopp has won 2 back-to-back championship titles in 2011 and 2012, a German Cup, and has also led the club to the Champions League final in 2013. According to rumors, he has been linked to a Premier League side and possibly Manchester City. Many of his European counterparts know what a valuable asset Klopp is to any club.
He's a very good coach, he's a good friend. I like him very much. If he comes, welcome, but I don't want to go into that story. Where is he going? The only thing I know is that he told me that for Chelsea he's not coming for sure, and he told me that personally, so I'm calm.
His replacement has already been appointed. Thomas Tuchel, the former coach of Mainz, has just signed a 3-year contract with Dortmund. Klopp gave no hint of his future and is not looking to take a long break from the game.
I do not have a plan and have no contact with other clubs. I'm not hiding anything, but I will not take a sabbatical. I take what could be called a half sabbatical year, and I do not go back on my decision. This is not planned or calculated, nor a tactical maneuver.
After Saturday's 3-0 win against Paderborn, Dortmund will play in the German Cup semi-finals next week against their biggest rivals, Bayern Munich, a club which does not intend to offer Klopp a job.
He will stay in the Bundesliga. Everybody asking, not Bayern Munich because we have an excellent coach with Pep Guardiola, but I think the rest would be very, very, very happy to have the interest of Jurgen Klopp to get him.
As Klopp nears the end of a roller coaster of a season, he will do everything possible to leave the club with another German Cup and Europa League qualification.
Ouriel, earlier in this show, we heard managers like Brendan Rodgers, like Wenger, like Mourinho. We didn't even hear Van Gaal, but we know what they sound like. This is this guy brings something different. It's fun to watch him, and it's fun to watch his team.
Yeah, he's a great personality to have on your side, because and actually is a great personality to have in football. Everybody, I don't think anyone can say I hate Jurgen Klopp. He's great, and his football. Let's face it, he changed football forever. His counter-attacking pressing, he basically invented in Borussia Dortmund, changed football. Since he, showed up in the Champions League scene, then tiki-taka teams can't win it anymore. The pressing and his ability to get 110% out of his players is just amazing. And this season, the bad season he had, is a one-off. It was a bad season because many players were injured.
German double, Champions League final,
Yeah.
and this is not the richest team in
Yeah.
Germany, not at all, and he did it.
With you know, the QPR's annual wage budget is bigger than
Players
Dortmund's.
being taken away by Bayern Munich on a yearly basis.
You know, yeah, exactly. So when you have, you know, their finishing was horrible this season. They couldn't gain possession in the final third as they used to in the good old times for them,
But still was making a run in the Champions League.
yeah, and they still made a good run. In the
Yeah, and
Champions
we'll
League.
definitely watch to see where it'll go. Ouriel Daskal, Michael Friedman, thank you both very much for being with us. And that's it for Talking Football this week. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.